We're now getting into geometry, okay? We're on page 767 of your math workbook. And right here is our first word, vocabulary word, we're going to learn from our word cards. It is a point, okay? In geometry, a lot of times they use letters to describe something. And so right here, when you're describing it, you want to give it a letter. So this is point A, okay? Beside it here on your card, this will be a line, all right? This is line A, B, okay? And that's how you would write it, line A, B. If you notice something, it has two arrows that go in opposite directions, okay? Now, this is called a line segment, okay? This is a line segment, or line segment QR, all right? And now, this is a ray. A ray has an endpoint with an arrow pointing and going in one direction. So this is ray FG. This is a right angle. A right angle forms a square in the corner. It's made up of two rays. If you notice, it has an endpoint here and then an arrow that goes out from B to A. Okay, and it also has another ray that starts here with B, letter B, and it goes out one direction to the letter C. So an angle is made up of two rays. So this is a right angle. Okay, a right angle, how you would write that would be angle ABC, and is equal to a 90-degree angle. So this is 90 degrees. Okay, now this is an acute angle. An acute angle, the opening of it is smaller than that of a right angle. Now they're giving you the dotted lines here. They're showing you what a right angle would look like, okay? But this is an acute angle, okay? It's this angle DEF, all right? Which is less than a 90-degree angle, which means its opening here is less than a right angle, is what it's saying. All right, let's look at your straight angle. A straight angle, okay, it's just a straight line with three dots on it, okay, with three endpoints, shall I say. So it's made up of two rays going in opposite directions. Endpoint is here in the center, and it goes out to J, in the center of K, and goes out to L. So this is ray. This is a, straight angle. You would write angle JKL equals is a 180-degree angle. Okay. Now let's look at this obtuse angle. An obtuse angle starts with the letter O, so I call it an open. It's like an open angle, open wide, right? It's like an alligator's mouth would open up wide. Okay, it is wider than, greater than a right angle. Okay, the right angle would be here. Okay, so angle GHJ is greater than a 90-degree angle. 90-degree angle, is a right angle. Okay, so it is greater than that angle. The opening is wide. And angle GHJ is less than a 100-degree angle. What's a 100-degree angle? The straight angle. So if I were to take this line right here, this endpoint, and I would extend it out, right? I can extend it out here, okay? So that means what? Its opening is less than that, right? From here to here, its open is less than a straight angle. All right, let's go over to our page number 772. Let's continue to look at it. Okay, we're on page 772, and we're looking at some common geometric terms. All right, so here we have, get something else here. Here we have a point, right? A point is an exact location in space. This is an example of a point. How would you say this? How would you write it? You would label it as point Z. Remember I told you geometry, your lines and your like points will have letters to name them. So this is point Z, and you say it just that way, point Z. Okay? A line is a straight path of points that goes on and on in opposite directions, okay? So this is a line, and if you notice, you'll have an arrow on both ends, right? But they're going in opposite directions. So to label it, it will be AB, right? But it's called what? Line AB. So when you write it, you have to put that line over the top of the letter, line AB. Okay, next, a line segment is a part of a line with two endpoints. Have an endpoint here, endpoint here. So when I write it, to label it, it's GR, right? I'm labeling it GR. Line segment, what? That's how I would say it, GR. Next, array. Array is part of a line that has one endpoint and continues on forever in one direction. One endpoint and continues on in one direction. So this is NO, that's our label. So how would I say it? Ray NO. Ray NO. And that's how you would write it. Okay, at the bottom, it says angles are named with 3 letters. The shared endpoint of the rays is the center letter. The other letters represent points from each ray. All right, now, an angle is formed by 2 rays that have the same endpoint. So let's look at our first angle. This is angle ABC. It is a right angle. A right angle forms square corners. Okay, so if you notice something, they both of these rays share this endpoint B. So if I start here at B, right? If I start here at B and I go up, that's a ray. If I start here at B and I go out to the right, that's another ray. Okay, so this is ray BA, and this will be ray BC. But putting those two together, they form a what? Right angle. So angle ABC is a right angle. Okay, next, angle DEF is an acute angle. An acute angle opens less than a right angle. Okay, if you remember us talking about that earlier, the mouth of it opens less, so it's less than the right angle, which, do you remember the degrees? It was a 90-degree angle, so it's less than a 90-degree angle. That's an acute angle. Okay, now, next we have angle GHI. Angle GHI is an obtuse angle. An obtuse angle opens more than a right angle, but less than a straight angle. Okay? It's open wide, way more than what? That 90-degree angle. And our last one, of course, is angle JKL, is a straight angle. A straight angle forms a straight what? Line. So this is angle JKL. And it also has 2 rays that are joined at an endpoint, and that endpoint happens to be in the center at K. So from K to J is a ray, and from K to L is also a ray. Okay, made up of an endpoint and a line that continues on. All right, now at the bottom of your paper, and this is page 772, it says here, look for relationships. It says, complete each figure to show the given angle. Okay, so our first angle is an obtuse angle. Now we know that an obtuse angle is open wider than a what? A right angle, remember? Okay, so an obtuse angle, remember, first of all, an angle is made up of 2 rays. So this is our one. If I put an endpoint here, right, that will be a ray. But if I also join it with another ray that's going out like this, it looks like an obtuse angle. It's open obtuse. All right, our next angle is called a straight angle. Straight angle is just a straight line, remember? But it's made up of what? 2 rays. So they have to share a common endpoint right here in the center. And if I draw another line going this way, there's my straight angle or my straight line, right? Made up of 2 rays. Next, we have an acute angle. Remember, an acute angle is less than, the opening is less than a right angle. So that means we have common endpoint, right? And then when I draw my picture, that is an acute angle. Okay. Next, A right angle. A right angle. That's the one that has an endpoint here, right? And it forms a what? It forms a square right there where the two rays meet. Okay? So those are my pictures. I hope you drew some as well. You can practice doing this. You have the workbook, page 772. All right? All right, let's move on to our workbook page. Where are we going now? Workbook page 773. Okay? Workbook page 773. Okay. All right, here it says your directions state to use geometric terms to describe what is shown. So, what do we see here? Number 4. This should look familiar. We just finished talking about these, on the previous page, on page 772. Okay? Look at this line. This is a line, of course, and it has 2 endpoints, right? A line with 2 endpoints, of course, would be a line segment. That's the name of it. It's a line segment. Now, what if I were to name it line segment what? Remember, you have to draw that line over the top of the letters, and you put your letters underneath it. So it's line segment PX, right? All right, now let's go to number 5. Number 5, it's made up of 2 rays joined at an endpoint. Okay, connect right here at this endpoint. So I have a ray, QP, and I have also ray QR. All right, so those are your 2 rays. And look, they form a square in the center, which means this is, of course, a what? Hopefully you said it. A right, what? A right angle. Okay, that's a right angle. Now, how would I write that, though? I would write it like this. Angle. Remember my letters? P, Q, R. Right angle PQR. All right, number 6 is a line, right? Because there's only one. It's a one line, but it has an endpoint, and it also continues on in one direction. So that means it's called a ray. This is a ray, right? So ray what? If I'm doing a ray, remember I got to do the arrow, and then I have to put what? B, Y. Ray BY. Okay, the last one. I have 2 rays joined here with an endpoint, which means it's an angle. Is it an obtuse angle or is it an acute angle? Remember, obtuse means open wide, right? Open O and obtuse. This is an acute angle. So it's smaller, like an A laying on its side, right? If you think about it, it looks like an A laying down on its side. Okay, acute. It looks like it's laying down on the side. So it is called acute angle. And I would say angle what? The letters are L, M, and N. Okay? Now, those are the geometric terms used to describe what is shown. All right, let's look at the bottom of your paper. Let's look at 12 through 14. Okay? 12 through 14. Your directions state, use a diagram at the right, okay, to answer 12, 13, and 14. Okay, now, let's look at this for a moment. It says, number 12, name 4 line segments. What's a line segment? Remember, if you go back up to the top, it's number 4. It's made up of what? 2 endpoints. Okay? So if I look at my picture here, I would notice that P to Q would be a line segment. So I would come over here and I would write it. Remember, you have to write your symbol over top of it. And you would write P Q, right? So it is line segment PQ. Now it's asked you to name 4. Look at the picture. Do you see another one? Oh, I do. I do. Look. S T. That's our second one. So that will be, excuse me, line segment S T. Okay? Next, do you see another one? I do. Guess what? We can start right here at P again. We can go all the way across. Excuse my line. P to R. P to R is a line segment. So line segment P R. And can I say T to U? Yes. Line segment T to U. Line segment T U. Now those are 4. There are more, okay? We could have said also T to Q or Q to T, right? We could have said Q to R. All right. Now let's look at naming 4 rays, okay? Let's look at this. Take the same picture and we're going to name rays, okay? Let me erase this. And we're going to name 4 rays. Okay? So let's name 4 rays. Now, what is a ray? First of all, go back up. A ray has an endpoint and a line with an arrow that continues on in one direction. So let's name our rays. We have to name 4. So I could say ray Q R, right? So when I write it, I'll do a ray, and underneath it I'll put the letters Q R. Okay? My next one, right underneath it, I would do T S. T S would be another ray. So ray T S. Okay? Do you see any more? Well, yeah, there are many. How about Q T? Q to T. Q to T is a ray. If I start at Q and I go down to T, that is a ray. So I can say ray Q T. Okay, now you see another one? Oh, there are many more. How about ray Q R? Very good. Ray, draw my arrow, ray Q R. Okay, so those are 4 rays. You just said to name 4. There are many, many more, of course. We could have also did P, ray P R, ray S U, ray T Q, ray T U. Many rays. Okay. All right. Let's continue. Name 2 right angles. Name 2 right angles. Now, remember, let's see what a right angle looks like first. A right angle. There's a right angle. It forms a what? It forms a square, doesn't it? Okay? So, let's look at our picture at what forms a square. We only need to name 2 of them. And I see 2 right here already. Remember, an angle is made up of 2 rays, right? Joined at an endpoint. So right here, I see a little box. They're helping us out. They're giving us a little box here. So right here at the box, there's a letter T. Now from T to Q, right? That's a ray. And from T to U, that's a ray. So you see what we got here? Isn't that a right angle? Because the little box is there. So what are we going to write here? For our first one, it's going to be right angle, or angle Q, T, U. Okay? Now our next one, we can do another one. Guess what? We don't have to follow our picture here. Okay? Let's find another one. We've got Q, T, U. Couldn't I let the Q be where two rays joined? And couldn't I say Q to R is a ray and Q to what? T is a ray, and this forms a square box. So Q to R forms a ray and Q to T forms a ray, and they join at the letter Q. So my ray would be my right angle would be RQT. So another right angle would be RQT. All right, guys. That's my introduction to geometry. It's pretty simple with lines today and angles. You're expected to do, of course, problem 8, 9, 10, and 11, right? And I think, let me see. Let's check the back out for a moment. Yeah, on the back, what would I do on the back? These two on the back right quick for you. How about that? On page 774 on the back, let's look at these two. It says, which term describes angle HJK? That's number 20. So we're looking at HJK. HJK. So is that an acute angle? We know what an acute angle is. That's not an acute angle. Remember? An acute angle would look like this. Right? Is it an obtuse angle, B? I don't think so, because an obtuse angle looks like this. Is it a right angle? It's not forming a what? A square. And the only answer would be what? D. It's a straight angle. Right? It's a straight angle. All right, now, Lisa drew two rays that share an endpoint. Which of the following is Lisa's drawing? Two rays that share an endpoint. Okay, remember what a ray is made up of. What's the definition of a ray? A ray is what? An endpoint. A ray is a line with an endpoint that keeps going on in one direction, right? But it says Lisa drew two rays that share an endpoint. So that means these two are connected. And if you got two rays that share an endpoint, that means it sounds like it's going to be an angle, right? And if it's an angle, they have to have two rays to share an endpoint. And looking at number A, and looking at letter A here, we have two rays that share what? An endpoint. So I do believe it is A. So I'm going to choose A. But look at B. Is it, that's an acute angle? Nope. Look, it's got an endpoint here, and then it has another what? Endpoint here. That cannot be two rays. That's one ray and an endpoint. These are not even connected, so we can't say it's C. And D is just made up of what? Line segments. Okay, guys. All right, that's it for me helping you today with the introduction to geometry. Remember, you are to do page 773, the problems that I did not complete. I'm going to flip it back over right quick, show it to you one more time. All right. You're going to do 8, 9, 10, and 11. All right. See you next time. Bye-bye.